Yeah. From US to Canada, Germany, Japan, there is less complaining, and in Singapore and Ireland, millions of people from all over the globe just call this fever for complaint-free-world.org. And we sang no more complaining people, their lives are changed.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you again for being with me as always. I'm really glad to have you here. I, of course, am not physically here. I'm on vacation, but I will definitely be checking in and seeing what those of you who have commented had to say. So I'm watching you. Everybody say hello. Just because I can't comment doesn't mean that you can't comment to one another. So be sure and everybody say hello. And while you all are connecting with each other and joining, I want to thank those of you especially who are here for the very first time. If you're here for the first time, let us know that you're here for the first time. We do this every single day, 5 days a week, live at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now, I realize wherever you are, that could be a very different time. We've got people who literally watch all over the world and who join us on a regular basis. And for those of you who are watching me on delay, who are watching this later on, thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who clicks share. Share is not just Sonny's ex-wife. Share is not just a headliner in Las Vegas. Share is not just an icon in show business. Share is what I'm asking you to do. Click share right now so that we can invite other people to join us. And I'm going to try once again, because I know it's a big deal, see if I can get Teddy to come up. He hasn't wanted to come out from under the desk because we've been recording several of these in a row, but I'm going to see if I can coax him. Hold on just a second. You heard your name, didn't you? Come here, buddy. Come on. Okay. I have to give him time to stretch. That is always a big thing. He's still stretching. You done? Okay, come on. That's my boy. That's my boy. Oh my goodness. He's down there taking a nap underneath the table where it's all nice and dark. He likes it under my desk because it's dark, and he's got a blanket down there he sleeps on. But then I haul him out here and bring him out so everybody can see him, and then the light shine in his little button eyes. So anyway, there's my teddy bear. Yeah. So he's going to go flying on a plane with me this weekend for the very first time, flying with me. He flew to me when I got him, but this will be his first time flying with me. Are you looking forward to it? Huh? Are you looking forward to it? He's got one of those little things that fits under a seat in a plane. So anyway, thank you for coming out and saying hi to everybody. They've missed you. Yeah, he's holding my neck with his paw. You can see it, can't you? He does that. He holds on to me. All right, I think he's cut. Nope, I was going to say he's had enough. He can't make up his mind. There we go. All right, Ted, why don't you head back up under the chair there, under the table. Thank you so much for coming out, buddy. We'll see you again later. All right, everybody, thank you again for being with me, and thank you for checking in. And like I said, thank you for those of you who share this every single day. We really appreciate it, because that's how we build our community of inspiring and hopeful people. That's what we're looking for, inspired and hopeful people, because there's always reason to be inspired. There's always reason to be hopeful. Today, I want to share with you something that came to me as a story from one of our regular users, watchers rather, and I'm sure he's sitting here live with us right now. This is Mike Gnagi. Now, that is not Mike Gnagi. That's me sitting there looking at a painting of Mike Gnagi. Now, Mike actually was on a virtual happy hour that we did with the Complaint-Free Meditation Group. Mike has been a member of the Complaint-Free Meditation Group practically since its inception. Mike is retiring as a barista, or did retire as a barista from Starbucks. And when he retired, he was looking for ways to keep himself healthy and active, because he, like most people, know that our minds are the devil's workshop. It's not our hands we have to worry about, it's our minds. And the busier we keep our hands, the busier we keep our minds. So Mike has been volunteering. He's with us every day on the on the JumpStarts, as well as the Complaint-Free Meditation Program. And when we were doing this what do you call it, this virtual happy hour, I saw this painting on the wall in Mike's home, and I asked him about it because I could see it over his shoulder. Mike was kind of holding his phone, as many of us tend to do, instead of, like holding the phone out in front of us. We tend to hold the phone way down so that it's hard for us to see, kind of like, here we go, there we go. So instead of holding it like this, it was down here. And as a result of him holding it that way, I could see this painting. And I thought, wow, that is really cool. And then he told me the story. And depending on the, if you look at the event thumbnail that I created, you'll see that it's a slightly different image. Those are actually the same painting. The difference is that some things changed about this painting. And I want to share that with you. As a person who has written 5 books, created probably 7 or 8 online programs, and I have literally been a writer my entire life. And if you think about it, we've been doing these JumpStarts for almost 10 years now. And so I've been writing these on a daily basis. One of the challenges with writing, and I shared with you before, down here beneath my computer screen, I have a couple of quotes from Hemingway. The first draft of anything is shit. That's Hemingway, forgive my language. And the second one is all writing is rewriting. So whenever you're going to do something creative, there is this understanding that as you're going, it's not going to work out as great as you would hope. Of course, you still hope, but you still realize that there's going to be changes. There's going to be things that you're going to have to augment. I remember when I was writing Happy this year, I had written an entire chapter in the third person. Now, there's a reason I did that. And I wrote it entirely in the third person, and I wrote this chapter, and I was so happy with it and everything. And then I was sharing it, and I realized it was more powerful if I had turned around and written it in the first person. And so I literally had to go back and search the word you everywhere and change it to the word I, etc., and all the various permutations of the first person pronouns. And when I finished it, it was so much better, but I remember what a slogging process that was, just slogging through, trying to find all these words in this 1,500 word, or 15,000 word, actually, 15,000 word chapter. So big chapter. Anyway, the point is that the creative process is a painful one. A lot of people tend to think that it is a comfortable, easy process, but it tends to be quite the frustrating process. And I think that that's one of the reasons most people don't even try. Don't try and be creative. Don't try and do something because they know that they're possibly going to run into some serious frustrations. A year ago, when I was living in Kansas City, Missouri, I built a 23-foot waterfall in our home. How about that? Took me 6 months to do it. I hand glued every piece of it. And when I thought I was done with it, I realized I wasn't. It leaked like crazy, and my daughter had to help me, but finally we got it to where it didn't. And I was so proud of it. The story behind this painting of Mike's, according to Mike, is that he and his wife were on an RV trip, if I remember it correctly. And they were sitting by some water, and they noticed the way the reeds in the water melded with the water itself, such that the water's blue almost seemed to reflect on the brown of the reeds, and the reeds' brown, of course, reflected into the blue water. And so Mike began to paint this painting. Now, the thing about paintings is they're just like books. It seems like you're done and you're not quite, or you don't quite know when to seem to know how to finish it. So often I'll be off on a lark writing something, and then I'm just not quite sure how to pull it into the garage at the end. The same is true for a painting. I've done a little bit of painting, mostly at wine and painting parties, but I can tell you one of the great challenges is knowing when you're done. When is it done? Is this the best I can do? Do I need to add more? If I add more, is that going to make it better? If I add more, is that going to make it worse? Well, Mike continued to add to this painting until he crossed the line. According to Mike, he crossed the line. He got to the point where it just was not getting better. It was getting worse. It's almost like when you're going to see not the obstetrician, but the optometrist. You go to the optometrist and he goes, is this better or this? This or this? Is this or this? The problem is with paint, once it's on, is this? It's on. So Mike had actually reached a point where he felt that the painting was overdone, that there was absolutely nothing that he could do to make it any better. And in fact, it was worse. So what Mike decided to do was scrap it. He was going to just let the painting go, over and done. And so what he decided to do was, now, instead of throwing it away, get this, he was going to throw this painting away. But instead of throwing the painting away, Mike was saying to himself, well, canvases like this are very, very expensive. And so rather than trying to, just throw it away, why not take it outside and hit it with a hose and see if I can just blast all of the paint off of it? And that's what Mike did. He went out, and as he started to blast off all of the paint that was a bit too much, and he kept blasting, and he kept blasting, then all of a sudden the hose itself became a brush, and he was able to transform something that was too much. But by washing it away a little bit, he improved it and made something beautiful. And that's how this painting came to be. It's interesting to me. I read the story one time that Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote The Unlimited Power of Positive Thinking, had written the manuscript and sent it off to 9 publishers who had all summarily rejected it, told him it was saccharine, told him it was unacceptable, told him that it was not something that seemed was going to be beneficial or marketable. And so when he received the rejection letter, and I've shared this story with you before, but it's such a good one. When he received the rejection letter, he threw the manuscript in the trash. He threw it in the trash, just like Mike was ready to trash his painting. And his wife went to withdraw the manuscript from the trash can, and Norman Vincent Peale said, no, leave it. Leave it in the trash can. So his wife did. And she took the trash can, bundled it up with the manuscript inside, and sent it off to another publisher who thought it was such a unique way of marketing the book that he bought the rights. And my copy, I think, says that book at that point, which was 60 years ago, it sold close to 16 million copies, which is 4 times more copies than I have sold all 5 books combined. So sometimes in the creative process, let me change that. Every time in the creative process, things are going to look hopeless and as if you've gone too far and you'll never come back. But if you stay with it, if you look at it with fresh eyes, if you do like Mike did, wash away the old and see it new, you'll be surprised what's there. So today I want to invite you to jumpstart your own creativity. If there's something that you'd like to try and do it. Whether it's quilting or I've got coconuts I'm painting. So if you want to paint coconuts or pine cones, but find something that allows you to express yourself creatively, because that is so important. I don't know if anybody's ever going to offer Mike $100,000 for this painting. I'm not going to. Sorry, Mike. Do like it, though. The point is not the money that Mike makes. The point is the soul's journey of evolution that Mike enjoyed in this creative process. So find and discover your own creative process. And tell us today before you check out, what is your creative process? What do you do to be creative? Like I said, I'm painting coconuts and I'm playing the drums. So also it's teaching myself very slowly to learn to play the guitar. So be sure and check in. Tell us about your creative process. And remember, it's never a straight line. I remember one of my favorite quotes is, every noble effort is at first impossible. That's our friend Emerson again. Every noble effort is at first impossible. And the same is true with the creative process. Creativity is there to change us, not to make us rich. And in the process, it enriches our world. So be creative with your life today and share your creativity with others. Be sure and join us tomorrow. We're going to talk about safe mental passage. See you then. Enjoy today. Bye-bye.
No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No